Hey everyone, it's your girl, Maddie here, aka Beaver Mosh. And last night I saw Blood Incantation, Immolation, and Obituary, and it was freaking insane. Anyway, I'm here today to talk to you about the new self-titled release from this US-based band, Mnajdra. And on this debut of theirs, Mnajdra comes through with a black metal record that is uniquely dense and pressing. It incorporates some other elements, some doom aspects, maybe some murkier sounds that make this a bit tonally different than maybe some other black metal records you're hearing lately. Just a lot of harsh textures and abrasive moments to be found that make this a particularly foggy metal album. It just has this feeling that is uniquely its own. It's a black metal record that progresses a lot, changes tones often, is varied, has a lot of compositional planning to it. And at times these tracks can be very intense and compelling, and the band just kind of performs the shit out of them in a very dramatic way. Worshipping Stones begins the record with these eerie, dissonant licks. It's a very chilling and vampiric way to start the record off, but it does evolve into these grim, ringing and racing tremolos that are anything but agreeable. The band finds ways to utilize discordant tones a lot in their music in very captivating ways. The drums begin to come through with these unrelenting, incredibly speedy blast beats, and the vocals are recorded in a way that they feel surrounded by a lot of harsh feedback. You reach these rough, ugly screeches. It's just very abrasive and harsh and just plain scary. The majority of the tracks on this album are a bit on the longer side. Only one track is below 5 minutes long. And you can tell that these songs develop very gradually and become more involved and intense. And that's a word I'm going to be using a lot to describe this record. It's the right word. Intense. This is black metal performed theatrically in a horror sense. Giantess has this cool, spacey and hazy intro. There's this interesting echo effect on the guitar. The cymbals kind of wash over you, and you get these cataclysmic, downstrummed and doomy guitar riffs. There's just this sense of towering dread over you. And then you also get these thick, swirling guitar licks that are also matched with some fuzzy bass work underneath as well. There will be these guitar phrases that are introduced by the most violently arresting screeches from the vocalist. I love how the band continuously pulls this off, and Mnajdra does a good job of filling in the space, not necessarily with fine detail, but with unsettling soundscapes. You just can't escape the darkness that this band so effortlessly produces. Under Earth comes through with this muddy, almost sludge-like intro with these brooding chords and dripping licks, and the bass rumbles on too with these jagged edges. I love how audible it is here. Allows for this to be quite a bit more dense than what you expect from black metal, while still allowing for that iciness in the guitar. Is actually, it's a really impressive feat in mixing. There are these transcendental arpeggios that ring out subtly throughout this track, hypnotic in a dark spell kind of way. And this is a track that becomes louder and louder and more chaotic as it grows. And I'm a real sucker for track progressions like that. Place of the Echo is one of the more melodic cuts, and I put melodic in air quotes, honestly. But yes, the guitars are a bit more harmonious in nature, even although surrounded by grim fog and furious feedback. And I wouldn't say this track is pretty. No, that isn't what I'm getting at. In fact, the track, everything all climaxes at this fierce, scarring, and brutally chaotic conclusion. Disorder is 7 minutes of bewitching blackened atmosphere. Gloomy, haunting, and grisly. And it's a slow burn. This track, but really the whole album. It's one that's going to require a complete, attentive sit-through. The drums do these very dramatic, steady stomp-throughs at times. It adds such a dynamic angle to the music and helps bolster the militancy that the band seems to be tapping into here. Sleeping Lady is this drifting, smoky venture that kind of moves on at a glacial pace and brings forward these somber, tortured passages that come in and out of the mix. And the vocals might be the most distressed they've sounded the entire record. They're the real understood strain coming out here. The track does evolve into this riffy as all fuck chugging groove intro, which is not something you always see working in black metal, but they do pull it off here. With especially how raw this record is, that was a definite choice. Golden Gate of the Ecliptic has this hopping, miasmic riff with these disorienting licks circling around. It's a real disarming introduction, and the track does erupt into these racing tremolos only to be slowed down into this harrowing slime, only to erupt again without much warning. And it produces this real sobering effect. For fans who like raw, grating black metal that can be a bit more adventurous but still maintaining an orthodox approach at the same time, this is a record to dig into. And yes, it's one to dig into. A lot of things existing in the small corners, a lot of hidden sounds to claw at. It can be a dense listen. And I just love how Mnadra's take on atmosphere is. It's a lot more venomous and suffocating, a lot more than the mystifying and wandering, emphasizing approach that you typically find in so-called atmospheric black metal. And so people who enjoy black metal, I think this one is going to press a lot of buttons for you like it did for me. And hey, those are my thoughts. Go check this record out. If you enjoyed my review, hit the like button. It really helps. It would mean the world to me if you'd consider subscribing, leave a comment. I love engaging with those. I have a Twitter you can follow. Link to that is in the bio of this YouTube channel. And hey, keep it metal. My name is Maddie, aka Beavermosh, and I'm signing off.